Ezekiel Elliott will be suspended for the first 6 games of the season. Now, when I last made this video about last night, I was talking about how he's going to get at least 4 games. I kind of regret that. I was about to say 6 games due to the similarities of the Ben Roethlisberger case, I would say 6, 7 years ago. But at the same time, though, I definitely feel as if that this 6-game suspension was very kind of expected. Simply because if you look what happened with the Ray Rice scandal or the Greg Hardy scandal, well, mostly Ray Rice, how Roger Goodell for himself had the elevator film but completely hid it from public and only gave Ray Rice a 2 games suspension because basically Ray Rice sucked up to him. That's what happens if you suck up to the owner, you lower your suspension. So Roger Goodell, he ain't the most credible person. He's definitely has a little bit of corruption in him, just a little bit. And so when I look at this with the suspension, they weren't going to take this lightly because they took the Ray Rice scandal where Ray punched his wife in the face, and obviously that's something really, really bad to do. And they weren't going to take this lightly, so they made sure they pat it down. And obviously Ezekiel Elliott, he's one of the stars in this league. Ray Rice by that point was washed up, but if you look at Elliott, rising star. I think he's really good. I'm not really surprised people think he's the best running back in the league. Hell, I would say he's one of the best running back. I would say he's the best running back in the league. If you say Le'Veon Bell or David Johnson is better, I mean that's respectable too. I have nothing against that. I just feel as if the pass catching argument, how Ezekiel Elliott as a pass catcher, isn't really as valuable compared to a Bell and Johnson. Sure, Bell and Johnson might do it more, but Elliott doesn't really have to do it more because Dak Prescott gets the ball out so quickly to the receivers versus getting out to the running back. And also, Dak Prescott has the mobility versus Carson Palmer and Ben Roethlisberger. Not really. They're not really your mobile quarterbacks, as you say, versus a Dak Prescott. But ideally, how could this affect the Cowboys? This is my thing, because I think Ezekiel Elliott is the centerpiece of the Dallas Cowboys offense, not Dak Prescott. I look at Dak Prescott, and I think he's a good quarterback. He's definitely, I would say, put in my top 10, but I would definitely prefer Russell Wilson over Dak Prescott. I just feel it is if that Dak Prescott is clearly not the centerpiece of the argument, and you relies on the running game a little bit too much. But at the same time, though, when I look at Ezekiel Elliott, I think since it's a running team, I want to see how well they do without an elite running back right there. Because in 2015, if you remember, the Cowboys just came off of a playoff season for the first time in I would say actually 4 or 5 years. So that was a pretty good season for them. But then what happened was Bryant gets injured, Romo gets injured, and they lost DeMarco Murray in the offseason. Obviously, a lot of people thought, well, DeMarco Murray only runs because of a good O-line, but the Cowboys went 4-12, and with that record, that's an absolutely repulsive record. It was terrible for them for how talented that roster is, and they did have 1,000-yard rushers there. You just need to have an elite running back. Ezekiel Elliott is a 1,600-yard rusher. And Alfred Morris, I believe, had a really good rushing season. I think he had like 1,600 yards in 2012, his rookie campaign. So he does have it in him, but that's a lot of read option. I really want to see how Alfred Morris does right there. But let's just say Alfred Morris doesn't play to an elite level and it's just a 1,000-yard rusher, similar to what Darren McFadden was in 2015. Let's see how well Dak Prescott does. I think that if you suspend him for the first 8 games, Elliott, that this team could go 8-8. And that's a real concern for the Dallas Cowboys. Because the Cowboys, I feel as if that Jason Witten isn't really getting younger, and you really got some stars here to win. And ideally, it's not a win-now team. They're not the Kansas City Chiefs, where they're definitely have a little bit on the old side, but they have some newcomers coming in. But at the same time, though, this definitely hurts their chances because a lot of people are thinking to themselves, oh, the Cowboys could go to the Super Bowl this year. They're the ones in the NFC probably who have the highest faith before the Ezekiel Elliott suspension. Now that he's suspended, this plays a little bit more of a role. I had the Giants winning that division before the season even started, before even Elliott got suspended. Now, when it comes to the Giants, I just think the Giants, I think they could be real balanced. I really, really like the Brandon Marshall signing. But my big problem here was when you came to the signing, what did the Cowboys do? They just kind of got rid of everyone. They just got rid of their entire secondary. They had some decent secondary guys. Barry Church, you had Brandon Carr, you had Morris Claiborne. They just got rid of all of them, which to me is a little bit like, well, you didn't really add on. And then Terrell McClain goes to the division rival to the Redskins. So this is what I look at right here. I just think that, in top of my head, the Dallas Cowboys didn't really attack the offseason like they probably should have. They probably got rid of a lot, but they also have a lot of talent, respectively. And then the Giants, they got to upgrade Brandon Marshall. And Eli Manning. Eli Manning can become a very good quarterback just like that. I mean, he's still young enough to play. It's not as if he's a 40-year-old quarterback like what his brother Peyton was in 2015, but he could definitely rebound. It's quite possible. Ideally, I know the O-line's a little bit iffy. I know running back's a little bit iffy, but I just look at that and think to myself, I have the Giants winning that just because they had that defense. They beat them twice last year, which is a big deal. And since now Elliott's suspended, I think the Giants could win that division. It's easy, and they could easily get a bye. Last year in the NFC, an 11-5 team, the Atlanta Falcons, got a bye. And usually 11-5 teams don't get a bye. You usually have to have at least 12 wins, sometimes 11. But the fact is right there, you're talking about the New York Giants winning the NFC East. And maybe the Redskins can sneak in there, or maybe the Philadelphia Eagles can sneak in there. But this really hurts the Dallas Cowboys' chances. Now, I want to see you in the comments below. Do you think the Dallas Cowboys will make the playoffs even though Ezekiel Elliott was suspended for 6 games? All right, thanks, guys, for watching the video. There's another video upcoming soon because the Bills made a lot of trades recently, so I'll be doing that soon. All right, guys, see ya. Peace.